Investigators have found what they believe to be the cockpit voice recorder in the wreckage of a China Eastern flight that crashed in the country's south with 132 people on board, a Chinese aviation official says. The outer casing of one of the two black boxes aboard the plane and its storage component both suffered damage, but the unit was relatively intact, Zhu Tao, director of the Office of Aviation Safety at the Civil Aviation Authority of China, told reporters at a briefing on Wednesday. The recorder will be sent to Beijing for decoding and analysis, Zhu said. How long that will take depends on the degree of damage the unit suffered, he said. Zhu Tao, Director of Aviation Safety at the Civil Aviation Administration of China, speaks during a news conference following the China Eastern plane crash at a hotel in Wuzhou. This will provide important evidence as to the cause of the accident, he said. Investigators would continue to go all out to find the flight data recorder to provide even more comprehensive data support to reconstruct the entire incident, he said. Images released earlier by state broadcaster CCTV showed workers placing a bright orange, mud-caked cylinder into a labeled, clear plastic, zip-close bag. Recovering the so-called black boxes, they are usually painted orange for visibility, is considered key to figuring out what caused the crash. In this image taken from video footage run by China's CCTV, a rescuer holding an orange-colored black box recorder which found at the plane crash site in Tengxian County in southern China's Guangxi Autonomous Region, Wednesday, March 23, 2022. A Chinese aviation official said Wednesday that one of the two black box recorders had been found in severely damaged condition, 2 days after a China Eastern flight crashed in southern China, with 132 people on board. The search for clues into why the jetliner dove suddenly and crashed into a mountain in southern China on Monday afternoon had to be temporarily suspended earlier Wednesday, as rain slickened the debris field and filled the red dirt gash formed by the plane's fiery impact. Wallets and identity and bank cards have been found and human remains were also recovered on Wednesday, Zheng 11, head of the Fire and Rescue Service in the Guangxi Autonomous Region, where the plane crashed, told reporters. The area is overgrown with weeds and the terrain is steep, Mr. Zheng said. With the rain, visibility has been poor, introducing a certain degree of difficulty into the rescue operation, he said. Searchers are using hand tools, including metal detectors, along with drones and sniffer dogs under rainy conditions to comb the heavily forested slopes. Crews also worked to pump water from the pit created when the plane hit the ground, but their efforts were suspended around mid-morning because small landslides were possible on the steep, slick slopes. In this photo released by Xinhua News Agency, rescue workers search for the black boxes at the plane crash site. The flight data recorder captures information about the plane's airspeed, altitude, direction up or down, pilot actions, and performance of all key systems. The cockpit voice recorder captures sounds including conversations and background engine noise during the flight. Officials said members of the air crew were healthy, the aircraft had a clean maintenance record, the weather had been good during the flight, and the pilots had been in regular communication with air traffic controllers prior to going into a dive. Relatives of passengers began arriving on Wednesday at the Gate to Lu village just outside the crash zone, where they, along with reporters on the scene, were stopped by police and officials who used opened umbrellas to block the view beyond. Relatives of passengers on board the China Eastern Flight 5735 leave from the entrance of LV village, which leads to the crash site. One woman was overheard saying her husband, the father of their 2 children, was on board the flight. "I'm just going in there to take a look. Am I breaking the law?" she said. The woman and a companion were then escorted away, and reporters told to stop filming. Another man, who gave just his surname, Ding, said his sister-in-law was on the plane. He said he hoped to visit the site, but had been told little by the authorities. "We're just coming here to have a look," said Ding, adding, "My heart sank all of a sudden, upon hearing about the crash." He too was escorted away. China Eastern Flight 5735 was carrying 123 passengers and 9 crew from Kunming in Yunnan province to Guangzhou, an industrial center on China's southeastern coast, when it crashed Monday afternoon outside the city of Wuzhou in the Guangxi region. All 132 people on board are presumed. Investigators say it is too early to speculate on the cause. The plane went into an unexplained dive an hour after departure and stopped transmitting data 96 seconds into the fall. The China Eastern Boeing 737-800 was filmed plummeting to Earth in a near-vertical nose dive. An air traffic controller tried to contact the pilots several times after seeing the plane's altitude drop sharply, but got no reply, Mr. Tao said on Tuesday. China Eastern is headquartered in Shanghai and is one of China's 3 largest carriers with more than 600 planes, including 109 Boeing 737-800s. China's Transport Ministry said China Eastern grounded all of its 737-800s, a move that could further disrupt domestic air travel already curtailed because of the largest COVID-19 outbreak in China since the initial peak in early 2020. The grounding order did not imply any mechanical problems with the fleet, but was an act of responsibility toward passengers, the chairman of China Eastern's Yunnan province subsidiary said at Wednesday's news conference. Debris is seen at the site of a plane crash in Tengxian County in southern China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, Tuesday, March 22, 2022. The Boeing 737-800 has been flying since 1998 and has a well-established safety record. It is an earlier model than the 737 MAX, which was grounded worldwide for nearly 2 years after crashes in 2018 and 2019. Monday's crash was China's worst in more than a decade.